Have you ever caught yourself missing a life that was actually killing you? Like you prayed for God to close that door. You cried for him to pull you out of that place. You knew it was toxic. You begged him for freedom. And now here you are scrolling through memories, second guessing your own deliverance. That's what Numbers 11 is about. If you've ever been there, if you're still fighting to remember grace more than you grumble about the grind, hit follow, drop no turning back in the comments. This message is for the wilderness in all of us. God's people have been set free. Pharaoh's gone. The Red Sea has split. The fire by night still burns. Manna still falls from the sky like clockwork. But the chapter starts with this one devastating sentence. Now the people complained. Not about oppression, not about injustice. They complained about discomfort. They got bored of manna, bored of the miracle. So they weep at the entrance to their tents and cry out, not in hunger, but in nostalgia. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt for free, and the cucumbers, the melons, the garlic, the onions. And just like that, slavery starts sounding like a salad bar. They forgot the whips, the sweat, the genocide of baby boys. All they could taste was what they missed, not what they escaped. Because complaining doesn't just insult God, it distorts reality. It doesn't just make you bitter, it makes you blind. Blind to what he's done, blind to where you are, blind to who he is. That's the slow amnesia of the soul. And it's terrifying, because now they're not just longing for food, they're longing for chains, craving bondage. And here's the wild part. God gave them what they wanted. Quail falls from the sky like a storm. It piles up 3 feet high, a day's walk in every direction. And they don't just eat, they devour. No gratitude, no worship, just consumption. And while it was still in their teeth, a plague broke out. Thousands die. And the place is named Kibroth Hattava, graves of craving. Let that sink in. They died trying to fill a hunger God never meant to satisfy. They buried themselves in what they begged for, and we do it too. We crave old lovers God already rescued us from. We romanticize old addictions because healing feels slow. We curse the manna, what God's using to keep us alive, because it doesn't feel flashy anymore. We start saying things like, at least back then I was happy. At least back then I had money. At least back then people noticed me. But back then you were dying. Back then you were bleeding out inside. Back then you were empty on the deepest level, and now you're free, but faith has made you forgetful. Let me say it straight. When your appetite outruns your obedience, it'll destroy you. And if you keep craving Egypt, you'll never step foot in the promised land. Because God's trying to teach us something in the wilderness. Freedom doesn't feel like Egypt. It's harder. There's no routine, no idols, no backup plan, but it's holy. It's where he breaks the slave mentality, where he detoxes your desires, where he shows you the miracle isn't in what you eat, it's in who you trust. And I get it. Manna doesn't feel exciting, it's daily, it's mundane, but don't you dare despise what's been sustaining you. Don't trade the presence of God for the taste of garlic. Don't trade your calling for a craving. Don't write a eulogy for your own destiny just because freedom feels unfamiliar, because that's what complaining will do. It'll turn tents into tombs. It'll keep you bound in a wilderness that was meant to be temporary. And listen, God's not afraid of your honesty. He can handle your heartbreak, but he will not entertain ungratefulness that leads to rebellion. So here's the question. What are you still craving from Egypt? What's that one thing you keep daydreaming about that God already told you to leave? What have you been complaining about that was actually an answer to prayer? What manna have you been cursing in your boredom? Maybe it's time to stop craving and start remembering. Start remembering the blood that got you out. Start remembering the chains that he broke. Start remembering that comfort isn't the same as calling. And here's your altar moment. Kill the craving before it kills your calling. If this hit you, drop I remember grace in the comments. Tag someone who's in the wilderness and tempted to turn back, and say it with me. There's no turning back. The manna is still falling. The fire is still burning. And even here, God is still good.